Morning, everyone. Happy brunch. My apologies for running late. Last night, the computer downloaded. You know how I turned it off, and I guess it did a bunch of downloading. So I usually I like 2 minutes before I sit down, and the whole entire thing was off, and then it did the whole. So I'm a little late today. I apologize. How is everyone? Everyone good? Did everybody have a merry, happy, joyous, what do they call it? What do we say? A happy Thanksgiving. Yes, that's what it is. A happy Thanksgiving. I know I did. Uh, and for some strange reason, and to help me with this, folks, I'm the one that does the cooking. I'm the one that I have people like cleaning up, but I try to clean as I go. But everybody is so much more stressed than I am. I just don't get that. I Every year I come and I make Thanksgiving dinner for darling Christopher and the kids, and every year I'm like the calmest person in the room. And so I made stuffing, mashed potatoes. Darlene made the cranberries, green beans. Oh, what else was there? I think everything. Squash. What are those called? No, Brussels sprouts. We did Brussels sprouts. Yes, I did those. I did those a way I learned where you grill them. You can do a little olive oil or whatnot and garlic, and then you add some balsamic, which glazes it, and a little maple syrup. And then you can also put it under the heat after that and let it roast. And then you get a nice maple syrup, balsamic glaze. And so that was how I did my Brussels sprouts. And the turkey stuffing was walnut and cinnamon, walnut, apple, cinnamon spice. Yeah, we do it every year because I've tried several different stuffings. We tried cranberry, we tried cherry, pecan, and they have their own apples from their own garden, so we harvest them, and I make apple pies, and then I make a big thing of stuffing, and I've been doing that since they were babies, so that's always their favorite. All right, let's turn the camera around and see who's joining us for brunch today. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Hi, Ann Dillon. Great to see you. Hello, Joel Tilson. Joel Tilson is the official floor director. If you have any questions and you feel like I can't see them, be sure and ask for Joel Tilson's help. He is in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Lovely. They've got 12 inches of snow. Oh my God. That sounds rather horrid. Hi, Debbie Brady, brand extraordinaire vision media person. If you need any designs, I didn't get my tissue. See, I was running. I'm just going to go down here and pretend. Oh, look, there's a tissue down there. All right. Oh, well, I have to change this towel. I always put a fresh towel down. Yeah, if you need brand design, talk to Debbie. Hi, also, Debbie is the person who oversees our fan pages. If you need fan pages done, what was I going to say about that? Oh, and once a month, I think next Tuesday would be this coming Tuesday, we have another raffle winner. Hi, Georgie. Hi, and Dylan. A Shorster. Thank you, everyone who's decided to sign up and be a member of the channel. L'chaim, everyone. All right. I think everybody's here who's going to join us. 75 degrees in Colorado. Wow. Anybody here have snow for Thanksgiving? Oh, I'm sorry, Kay. Kay wasn't feeling well. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer. Let's all come together. We've got a couple remote views for you. I guess Trump is now rebranding himself. The thing is, isn't it possible that he could get kicked out of the Republican Party and have to run as an independent? Do you guys know about that? I'm sorry, I will get a tissue. My nose is running. Just a little bit. Thank you. Okay, getting myself comfortable. All right, let's do the empath prayer, and then we will come to some fundamental truths together. Where's my pen? I'm all over the place today. Oh, good, Kay. All right, got to have my pretty picture behind me. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. All right. So I have a fantasy. I sometimes wonder what comes first, the fantasy in someone's head. It'll be an interesting conversation. It'll be an interesting conversation. What comes first, the fantasy or the reality, or the idea in someone's head that someone thinks is crazy, or I don't know. But as many of you know, I wrote I think it was 2.5 pages summary of what is an oasis historically, how safety cities historically were created. I mean, they're mentioned in the Talmud, they're mentioned in the Bible. Say you're somebody who risked his life for a dominant society as an informant or something like that. They wouldn't be able to go back to their world, so we would create safe cities, right? So you go back to the history of the creation of, the first Jewish people, right? And you think about Abraham was the first Jewish person. He was a monotheist from Iraq, right? So he marries Sarai, and we're actually studying this in the the portion of the week of the Torah. But he takes her to the land, and the nation of Israel is divided into tribes, and everybody has a different opinion about everything. But Abraham is a pretty wise individual. Abraham, call him what you will. We do believe historically there may be some evidence that this man existed. That'll be exciting for those of you who always like to hear from a cynical anthropologist. No, there's some real evidence, and we think so because he appears to be someone who bought a tremendous amount of land and acquired quite a bit of money, wealth, power, children, etc. And we know that because we see writings going all the way into India, right? Well, we're the children of Abraham, and we got to go and establish a spiritual life here in India, right? The Brahmins, right? A lot of people think there's a relationship with the Brahmins and the Abramites, that they were part of this kingdom and they were spreading trade, etc., into Judea, Samaria area, right? So being a wise man, he created an oasis in Israel. So say, for example, he's a wealthy man and he's acquiring more power and more wealth. He didn't go around beating up the people of the land. What he did was he started giving them jobs. And if they were loyal to him, he kept he had a very, very, very large tent. When we're talking about tents, we're talking about wedding size tents. Tents can be extremely large, right? It can be the size of a Madison Square Garden if you want it to be, right? So we theorize that it must have been an extremely large tent, and it had 4 entrances. And so he had crowd control, right? You had an entrance and an exit point from multiple sides. So the guy was probably making a fortune on trade as people were moving in through what today we would call the Silk Road. Now, in terms of the economy at that time, it was mostly hunters and gatherers and pastoralists. Hunters, gatherers, pastoralists, and a new economy starts to emerge, and that's agriculture. And when agriculture starts to happen, the people have to stay where they're at because you can't leave the farm, can you? So Abraham is a nomadic herdsman, right? So his main economy was semi-nomadic in the sense that you could move the herds. You could move them to fresh pastures if you had to. And so he was able, along with his grandson Jacob, to move large amounts of his economy throughout the area. But it also required rotational farming. So that was the other reason that Abraham bought up so much land, was because he was like people at that time, he was mostly a pastoralist. Then you see Isaac come along, who's his son. And Isaac starts to get involved in agriculture. We start hearing about the economy of grain. We hear more about it with Jacob, right? So Jacob has a mixed economy. Isaac has a mixed economy. They're still doing the pastoral thing, but they're now starting to really, once they get stable and buy the land, they're now moving towards agriculture. Anthropologists look at the Bible not as something that's bad or negative, etc., but we're looking for something different when we examine these types of texts. And what I see emerging economies, changing economies, and I see a smart man who got very wealthy and bought a ton of land and kept expanding his kingdom because he used the oasis model to do so. He didn't build a Jewish country club in Bethel. He was too smart for that. He secured the perimeter, theoretically, probably paid for an army. He took the entire area, he paid for it. He secured the entire area. Look, if you're not going to be nice to him, if you're not going to support your landlord, you're probably not going to be happy here. And then he had an additional secure area on top of that secure. We're talking about double security here, I'm thinking, right? Oh, you want to come into the tent and really get to know life as a Jewish person, maybe study the Torah, right? Jewish principle. In plain words, getting closer to the good became something people wanted, and it was something that was made available to them. We don't close the door on people. We keep the door open for them. Some people can be saved and some cannot be saved. Some people want to do good and they want to be a part of the creation of the good. And some want to continue to be troublemakers. But you know, when you think about the life of Abraham, I don't recall any stories of him killing anybody. The closest he ever got to killing anybody was the sacrifice of his son, which is the Parsha Shavua, I believe. It's the portion of the week. And instead of giving his life, his child's life, or his own life to something dark and destructive, he gave his life to the nation of Israel. And that became his new oath, right? So I'm not going to kill my children. I'm not going to use them as human shields. I love my son. I'm going to protect him. And instead, I give my life, I dedicate my child's life to something greater than myself, and that is the nation of Israel. And that is the portion of the week. So we get back to my prayer and my visions. So everybody has a dream. So mine was, wouldn't it be great if we could start to look at creating an oasis zone? Like, say, for example, once Israel secures all of Gaza, north and south, and we start to get investors from United Arab Emirates, will you help us build a beautiful Gaza in the north? Saudi Arabia, can we get some foreign investors in here to give these people a beautiful world? And then the people who did the fighting and dying to do the right thing, the people who fought against Hamas, who are now waving white flags and saying, we don't want Hamas here. We want to be under Israel. We want democracy. Give them the oasis. And share it with Israelis that want to show them how to run a country. Give them the love and support that they need. I'm talking about the people that sacrificed their life for Israel. Now, in the Talmud, it's called a safe zone, or it's not called a safe zone there, but basically they're places of free harbor for people that risk their life to do the right thing. And if they go back home, they're going to be killed. We have a moral responsibility to protect those people. That's the new oasis that I pray every day that my country has the wisdom to build. In time, it will become wealthy. In time, more and more Gazans in the South will put down arms and say, we want to have what you have. So come have a bowl of soup. Let's build a country. That's what I believe will happen. That is what I hold on to. That is my prayer. We give someone something better and we show them the way. Okay, I want a concert in a safety zone in North Gaza. I want Elton John to come out of retirement. I want him to come to North Gaza, and I want him to give the people of Gaza a concert. Because if anybody understands whimsy, it's Elton John. So I was meditating on peace, and I was meditating on Christmas, and I started thinking of that song, Someone Saved My Life Tonight. And I'm going to get demonetized, but I'm not sure I really care. But he was performing in Madison Square Garden. And I saw all those bright, hopeful faces, and I saw the crowds, and I thought, you know, there's no reason that we can't recreate. The man is clearly bored, and we have to give Elton John a job. Wouldn't you agree? And so I believe that with the permission of the IDF, of course, because I am very much a supporter of Israel, let us pray. Let us pray that this... Hey, let us pray. Let us pray. Let us pray hard. North Gaza, Christmas. Christmas in North Gaza. Give it to me, Elton. believe in you.
When I think of those eastern lights, muggy nights, the curtains drawn in the little room downstairs. Prima Donna Lodge, you really should have been there, sitting like a princess perched in her electric chair. There's one more beat, and I don't hear you anymore. We've all gone crazy lately. My friend out there, rolling around the basement floor. Ooh. Someone saved my life tonight, sugar baby. Almost had your hooks in me, didn't you, dear? You nearly had me roped and tied. All the bound, hypnotized, sweet freedom whispered in my ear, you're a butterfly. Butterflies are free to fly. Fly away, high away, bye bye. Never realized the passing hours of evening showers, a slit noose hanging in my darkest dreams. I'm strangled by a heart of social theme, tipped up on our plate by dominating queen. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Listen to me good, I'm sleeping with myself tonight, saving time, thank God my music still alive. Oh, someone saved my life tonight, sugar babe. I'm gonna have your hooks in me, did you, dear? You nearly had me roped and tied. All the bound, hypnotized, sweet freedom whispered in my ear, you're a butterfly. Butterflies are free to fly. Fly away, high away, bye bye. Now who walks head on into the deep end of the river, clinging to your stocks and marks, being your 8 feet in and forever. They're coming in the morning with a truck to take me home. Someone saved my life tonight. Someone saved my life tonight. Someone saved my life tonight. Someone saved my life inside. Saved my life.
What do you think? Should we do it in, you think we should do it in North Gaza? What do you think? I don't know. Yeah, so I think we can do this. I think we can make this happen. I think that 2 days ago, Elton John did a video where he was talking about the lovely little Christmas album he did, and the man looks bored out of his wits. He's not doing well with Mr. Elton John. You're not meant to retire. You're meant to do another Christmas album in Gaza. I mean, don't you think that that should be, if he's going to retire, let him do it after he performs, right? Okay. You know, it's funny. Somebody said, perform the bitches back in town. And you're not the only person I have spoken to about this concert that has said that that is exactly the song they want him performing if he doesn't. Sorry, I'm going to mute this. Oops, there we go. I just got to read these notes. Oh, is he an Aries? Well, you know, he's definitely, as a little kid, I definitely grew up listening to him. So if you want to see Gaza Christmas, if you, you know, think that the Israeli Defense Forces, if it won't be a logistical impossibility to make something like this happen. But wouldn't that be wonderful if they could do it, if they could fly him in and do this surprise concert with everyone that was part of the good on both sides? Wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah, so someone changed my life tonight. You know, it's not enough to kick out Hamas. What are we going to do? What are we going to do to help people build something better, right? And sometimes people don't know. Like little Whimsy, when little Whimsy had a, you know, I had a tough time when I was a kid, right? Something that I had, it was very difficult for me to publicly talk about the fact that I myself had been held hostage as a child. I myself had been part of a hostage situation, and it went on for a very long time. And so when people have been dehumanized, or if you were a child in captivity, which is something I personally experienced firsthand, here is what that somebody growing up in those conditions doesn't need. They don't need to be somehow compared to their screwed up parents, right? There's a difference between somebody who's in a captivity situation. 9 times out of 10, it's a bad custody battle, right? Mentally ill parent steals the kid, holds the, you know, that's still a hostage. 9 times out of 10, it's the same situation. Kid still winds up with a gun to their head. Majority of kids murdered, it's by a family member, right? In these situations. So the point is that this has triggered all of us, particularly those of us who are compassionate and empathetic and want to do good in the world. So hopefully it will inspire us to create, Gaza Relief Fund concert, but it has to be an oasis. It has to be under the Israeli Defense Forces, and the purpose is to bring Israelis and Gazans together in a protective space that is going to help support them to build something good. In a remote last night, I saw that Hamas fighters are fleeing, and specifically, I saw them fleeing on the southeast side. Now, this is because Israel encircled the north. They also hit the harbor, because they knew that Hamas was guarding the harbor, right? So in the remotes, when I put myself an empath, and this is something that detectives, police officers are taught, right? When you put yourself in the shoes of another person, if the better you are at doing that, the better you are at warfare. That is the art of war. The art of war is to have such a great imagination that you become the enemy. So we know they took the one tunnel at Shifa, but I felt like there was another tunnel. So I think that they plugged the other tunnel, which means that if anybody was in that area that had hostages, they had no way out. So it looked to me almost like they had a perimeter with Hamas. They had a second tunnel that was plugged in. They had no choice. Either Israel was going to go in and kill everybody, or they were going to have to start handing over hostages, because they had already lost the southeast side. Remember I told you they were going to go in from the southeast side, that the triage unit, the ER under that. Well, you saw the hostage being brought into the ER unit, right? They had film footage of them being taken in. So they plugged that one. So when you look at the IDF images and when you do a remote, well, what about the northeast side? What'd you do there? Clearly, if it was plugged on the southeast side, you would head to the north, right? So if they plugged that, then they're trapped, right? Where else would they go? So then they would have to start surrendering, start handing over hostages, or everybody's going to die. In plainer words, they started probably to think that these Israelis are so damn insane, they're willing to kill their own, right? So I think that that's what happened. I think they closed them off, and then they started to hand people over. And I think they did try to take them northeast, which is one of the reasons why they hit the Indonesian hospital, and because they went northeast, because we were tracking them. I know, we're vicious, aren't we? So now where do you go? You can't go northeast. You can't go southeast. Where are you going to head? You're going to have to go southwest. You're going to have to go towards the harbor. You're going to have to go towards the South Harbor and see if there's some way to smuggle out through tunnels between Egypt and Gaza through the southwest. And if they're surrendering anyway, and if there's a ceasefire for the next 3 to 4 days, then that will give Hamas time to hit the road, Jack. And that's probably what they're doing. We got 3 days to get the hell out of here. Sorry, you're on your own. Because every time I go into this remote, every time I go into this, throwing cards, they're fleeing. Hamas is fleeing. Hamas is fleeing. The other thing is that the Gazan people are becoming emboldened. They're waving white flags. They're shouting anti-Hamas slogans. As I had mentioned in previous remotes, missing women forced into marriages, pressure from Hamas, societal pressure, people in situations they did not necessarily want to be in. Supposedly, there were something like 4,500 women and children killed. I believe it's going to come out that many of them are the wives of Hamas fighters. And they were not allowed to leave because Hamas fighters wouldn't let them leave. And I think the other thing that needs to be examined as a feminist is whether or not the women wanted to be with these people in the first place. I mean, how much free choice do you have when Hamas is in charge and they've decided that they need wives for the revolution? Why were all these women and children in that location when there were plenty of opportunities to get out? It's because I believe many of them were brides of Hamas. You know, it's just tragic. And I believe that the data on that will prove irrefutable. You know, so those children are also hostages, right? The children of Hamas, the women that were pressured into marriages, pressured into situations, afraid to say no, couldn't say no, and then they stayed and died with their kids. If they were given safe harbor, how many of them would take it And how many of them can be trusted? Well, some can be trusted, some can't. So you have to have, you have to work within the framework, right? But this is the map. The map goes like this. I'm going to cover a name up because some stuff is not official, but you can see the map. Here's the migration map. Okay. Any questions about that? Want to do some blitzes? Whoops. Sorry, I'm late. Dropping everything today. Hi, Mila. Good to see you here. Oh my God. Call on Joan Baez. Yeah, another idea would be that you could do a mixed concert and he would be the closing act rather than expecting him to do the entire concert. He may just come and do 3 songs, 2 or 3 songs and be like the closing act. That's one thing you could do. You could do a peace concert and bring in tons of acts. It would be a security nightmare unless you helicoptered them in. And then you would also bring in Gazans. They would get it for free, who risked their lives fighting for their country. There were a lot of people that died fighting Hamas, and they deserve. Don't you think they deserve a break today? Fighting for their sisters, you deserve a break today. Oh, we did the collective reading, Georgie. I was like, what was the question there? Yeah, we did that. Oh, 11. Thank you so much for that donation. All donations received today will be going towards my trip to Israel. I'll be there for 2.5 weeks or longer, depending. And I'm also going to be purchasing things that are needed by the IDF, or you can purchase them yourself. If you'd like to find out more about what these soldiers need, there is a video that I have tagged. Don't drive yourself crazy if you can't do it, but if you want to participate, and then I'm reboxing everything into a large box and I'm shipping it to brothers and sisters of Israel. I think I'll go ahead and do that before I leave. Yeah, so they need Tesla tape, black tape, power cord ties, first aid kits, Lecoplast, blister past, protein bars, because when they're in the field, they don't always get to eat, tourniquets, camel pack dehydration and electrolyte packets, black markers, Tipex, soldier's knives that have everything in them. Yeah. So whole list is over there. No more war. Yeah. No, Elton John would love the Oasis. Well, if you know anybody who knows Elton John, I believe in miracles. Tell him we want Christmas in Gaza. I think it'd be perfect. Don't you think that would blow your mind if you were born in war with all these crazy people holding you hostage and you were raised, they were telling you, oh, Jewish people are bad and all this terrible stuff's going to happen. And then the war ends and you get taken into the oasis and you have this amazing food and someone hoists you on your shoulders and you watch Elton John. You think, did I just see God? I mean, like imagine how your world would be rocked and somebody says, hey, welcome to the West. Like, this is the West, freedom, man. What would that do to dismantle all the damage of Hamas? Think about it. That would change that child's life forever. That child would never be the same after that. They would say, man, I want to be that guy on the stage. I want to work towards peace. It's so cool. I want to wear those glasses, right? Do you see the UN forces stepping in? Well, here's the thing, this is what happens when you pull US troops out of Syria, right? Please get the word out. Trump was not good for Israel, clearly. Dragging us out of, in a situation where we didn't have any backup. That's what it feels like. UN forces stepping in, serving security in Gaza. Yes, it's very likely we could see UN stepping in. And that's what, my only concern about them creating an oasis and having Dubai money come in and everything else is that it's going to be ritzy apartments and then regular Gazans aren't going to be able to afford them. So they've got to be able to put up amazing housing opportunities for people that pass background checks and stuff, because otherwise it's going to become like what's happening in Lahaina. And then we're right back to where we started from. No, we're trying to do an integration model, not create Lahaina, right? It's not burn, destroy, and then have the aristocrats move in. Oh, great. We've got another Riviera. That is the biggest vulnerability right now. When we say rebuild, we mean rebuild affordable housing for people, right? So, yes, security court. Traditionally, a magician card is like the strength and the power. You also have the hermit card, which would indicate like an intellectual solution, the fear of walking away from what they built, which was ultimately what happened when so many Western forces left the Middle East and expected democracy to flourish without being nurtured, which is beyond absurd, with people who've never known it and had no concept of it. I mean, it's just, come on, folks, and have never been shown compassion by their father. Don't call the kid an animal when you would have wound up exactly the same way. Show some humility. Be a true Yid. We don't sit in Yiddish, we don't sit in country clubs while a kid doesn't have a bowl of soup. We have to raise people up. I'm not talking about anybody and everybody. I'm talking about the people I think we need to give people an out and an in, personally. Queen of Wands coming in, strong energy. That's kind of like Deborah, right? Judge Judy. Oh, I see an armistice, a peace. Well, that's because I can tell you, I don't think Hamas is staying. From what I saw, Hamas is fleeing. They fled. They're using this to hop on a boat to Algeria. That's what I think. I think you got a lot of Hamas fighters fleeing in the southeast. There might be a few underground tunnels still left in the southeast, and if there are, I would, between Egypt and Gaza, and if they are, I would use them to get the hell out of Dodge, build a new life, hop on a boat, go to Algeria, just like Green Prince says, live to fight another day. And then they'll be angry when the private sector starts to be, private money starts to be coming in, the malls and all of that stuff. People are going to be like, what the hell is this? Are you taking over? And in a way, they are. But the biggest vulnerability is going to be affordable housing. Here's your armistice. Look at this. Armistice with a magician card. Look at all the intellectuals here. Hopes and fears, the King of Wands, the War King. Look at this, truce, a truce. Israel will achieve truce with leadership. I think it's going to happen inside of an oasis. I think we're going to raise people up and we're going to create an amazing society in North Gaza. Look at that, truce. Two of Cups is truce. Well, awesome possum. We're going to have a truce. The good people of North Gaza that come in, that hid people, saved people, informed at great cost to themselves, like the Green Prince. He should have a beautiful home for him and his kids. Don't you think he should be and have a lovely home there after everything he lost? Right? We have to reward the people that have risked so much for us. We don't forget our friends, right? Let's keep that into consideration. Netanyahu, well, who knows? I'm just like a regular person who, anybody can send suggestions, right? I did the collective reading. Why is everybody asking me that? What did Hamas think would happen? They thought that they were going to win the war. They were pumped up on cocaine-like, amphetamine-like substances. And thank you, Joel, so much for those donations. I really appreciate that. And I think that they thought that they were going to join up with the West Bank and that Hezbollah would come and finish the job. And And Hamas was meeting in Russia with Putin. There were multiple meetings. And Hezbollah, Iran's was meeting with Hezbollah about a plan to attack. So it looks like the Hamas meetings with Iran and the Hezbollah meetings Hamas meetings with Putin and Iran meetings with Hezbollah appear to be plans of the same attack. Dawn, we're not doing private readings. This is a public show today. Sorry. Yeah, let's take a look. I wanted to talk about Trump because, do you folks even think that he's going to be eligible on? Are the Republicans going to allow him on the ballot? Has there been a decision about that? Okay, the collective reading was an hour ago. Why is everybody asking me to do the collective reading again? Oh, the collective reading. Oh, I see what you're saying. I did the collective prayer, but not the collective reading. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm out of it today. Okay, let's look at Trump's future, and then we'll give you a collective reading. I'm sorry, sweethearts. Death. Don't you think that... You guys are worried about Trump? He won't be eligible to win. Boy, you know who wins? The world. Okay, now everybody's going to go contact Elton John about Christmas in Gaza, right? You're all going to write him a letter. You're all going to say, contact the IDF so that they say it's okay. Wouldn't that be great? All right, so let's do the collective reading. Oh my God, you guys keep me on track. At least I got rid of my main cough when I gave up the resin, whatever you guys want to call it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the collective reading now. If I can figure out a way to pin this. It's not letting me pin. Replace pin there. Excuse me. Okay. What do you guys think? What are the odds that he's going to do it? Huh? Guys, can you guys see it? Christmas in Gaza? Elton John concert? Would that not frickin', because it's so impossible. That's why it has to be done. Because it's so mind-blowing. Because it's so incredible. And it shows the resilience of the human spirit. It shows how cool the IDF is and how cool we are. That's why it should happen. All right, let's look at it. All right, where you're at right now, smoother waters lay ahead for many of you financially, and I see many of you in the next 2 to 3 weeks receiving stable jobs. There's a lot coming in terms of a smoother job market. These are scary times because of social media, and I'm not quite sure what America is going to do about it, but I know people have been very scared about the jobs market. However, the base of the matter, traditionally, Archangel Raphael, is it Archangel Raphael? No. Gabriel, excuse me. Archangel Gabriel is associated with the arts. It's also associated with Page of Pentacles, writing, creative pursuits, money, jobs, wealth, Lakshmi. So we have a solid job and smoother waters lay ahead. Major transformation exists now for many of you. Many of you have started your New Year's resolutions early, and I see many of you going on like vegan cleanses, detoxes, like brown rice, black beans, exercise, and getting back to health. I think we're all feeling it, like we're sick of being sick. We're sick of lying in bed and eating junk food. This is not who we are. I know that I feel that way. I had my green smoothie again this morning. I'm back to my old ways. I finally got well. I got very sick just from everything. You know, we cannot heap a ton of insults on our person, whether it's our souls, our spirits, our minds, whatever. Eventually we're going to crack. And these times are very hard for people, you know, like what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on in Israel, what's going on in the United States and Gaza. I mean, like we have to realize also we're on each other's team. We're not the enemy. So we need to not be pushing each other away so much, you know. But transformation towards positive behavior, strengthen, you know, just Six of Wands is success, onto a success in your life, going into battle and winning. It can also often be entrepreneurship. It's a 6-month card because I read wands. I've always read wands as months. That is how I was taught to read wands, and I've always kept with that. Pentacles are weeks, wands are months, if you want to get a timeline. So over the next 6 months, great success lay for you in terms of your goals for yourself, in terms of your physical health. So I'm seeing 6-month goals, a new beginning and transformation over your diet and nutrition. It's like you come to a point of realizing that you're not helpless and you begin to take personal responsibility for how you live your life. I see many of you writing and creating and dreaming up beautiful worlds to share with others. The Queen of Cups is the dreamer. Where you're at this time, feeling defensive perhaps, feeling afraid of the outside world, feeling like you're afraid to get any more feedback because maybe another person's going to attack you. Two of Swords, oy vavoy, I can't do anything right. Two of Swords is when a person really feels like, man, it's like, I don't want anyone near me. I can't listen anymore, right? Others in relationship to you, Page of Swords, which is the truth will set you free, but it also cuts with a knife. It can be a brutal card. The hopes and fears, your lovers, your communication, your outside influences, potentially also being loyal to more than one person at the same time. And how do I reconcile that? What does that look like? And then the final outcome for you, sunny days lay ahead. As long as you stick to your ethics and as long as you are true to who you are as a person, then you will have many happy, healthy, wealthy years ahead. Your karma will bring great wealth. Seek balance, be good, live by your principles. You know, it's like letting go of things that do not serve you. If you do that, and when they say let go of things that don't serve you, they also mean like drugs, alcohol, too much chocolate cake, you know. Yeah, that's what I see. Thank you, everyone. That is your collective, now that I understand what you wanted. Cheers. So the hostages. The outcome of American hostages being held in Venezuela. I didn't hear anything about this, but let's take a look. It sounds scary. Yeah, but actually write a letter, man. Find some address where you think you can reach him. We want a Gaza Christmas. We want a Gaza Christmas. Okay, this is about hostages being held in Venezuela. Hostage agreement, 2 of Cups. Sunny days. Heartbreak. Ooh, there's a tower. Something's crashing. Oh, this is in Venezuela. They've got a market crash. Their money's kaput. Their banks have their banks collapsed yet? Because they're about to. It's a full economic collapse. That was probably why they did the prisoner thing. Yeah, political prisoners in Venezuela. Oh my God, what the hell did they do to the economy? I think the reason why they're going to have to give up these hostages because their economy is on the verge of complete bankruptcy. Look at this. A hostage deal. Look at this. The money situation, smoother waters. Look at that. Communication. This is a creativity. Heartbreak, 3 of Pentacles contracts. Look at this tower crash over the president. It's because the country's kaput and they had no choice. That's why, yes, because they had no choice and because their economy is on the verge of a complete collapse. Wow, that was crazy, you guys. Thank you so much. Yes, write Elton John. Tell him about our crazy dream. And write the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces. Well, only if you guys say it's okay. Well, we might be able to do it in Israel at the border and bring in Gazans. That might be the safest way to do it, but it would be cool if we could actually do it in Gaza. And I'll miss it because if they do it, I won't even be there because I'll be on a plane to Israel when it's happening if he decides to do it. And that's the great irony. It's like we all of us who promoted it won't get to be there if it does happen. Okay, will Trump flee? No, I think he's going to plead guilty to lesser sentences, and I think that he's going to claim that he didn't plead guilty. But that's precisely what his plea will mean. And it's over, really. I don't know what world this guy is living in. A fool is facing heartbreak in the next few days. His whole entire world, they're taking everything. Look at this. This is the feds. What the hell? I think there's a stock market crash happening in the next 2 weeks, by the way. I'm sorry, folks. Well, it is what it is. It'll come back again. You may want to just hold. But yeah, there'll be a major market upset in the next 2 weeks. You're free to do what you like, but I hold. And then when it crashes, I just buy more of that index stock, blue chip or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're looking at a stock market crash. And it's probably even going to be affecting his assets, them going in and taking his assets and him defending his territory. I think it's fairly obvious that they're going to go ahead and take a lot of his money. What did he expect? Why is Trump surprised? He doesn't pay his taxes. His people, his people wind up in jail for tax evasion, and he's surprised that he winds up losing everything. Come on. Gee, who knew that they would start to hit him with excessive fees by the end of this? Come on, like, this is surprising. All right, George Santos. Let's take a look at the cards. Are you guys having as much fun as I am? It's good to see everybody. We'll go later because I started late. I don't care. I'm cool. I like to be on time, but it is what it is. I'm very grateful I can breathe again without coughing. And getting used to the new rosin. It doesn't work as well as the old stuff. It's not sticky enough. That's the problem. It's not sticky enough. I stopped coughing, but the problem is that it doesn't work as well as the old stuff. That's my only complaint. Okay. No. He's beyond being saved, and in fact, he would do well to get a psychiatric evaluation, and they possibly want to also look into potentially him having a drug problem. He doesn't look like he would have a drug problem. He doesn't seem like he's coked up or anything, but they're talking here about some kind of a psych eval on this guy. I'll show it to you. I just read cards, I use HCRV, which is quick technique, and that's where you connect your gut with, and you see what you can see. But George Santos is look at this, heartbreak, 10 of Wands. I mean, heavy load. The guy is in a lot of trouble. In terms of the feds, their feeling is that their case is so strong at this point, he really can't get out of it. The Strength card and 5 of Wands, which is a battling. There could be intense battling about what to do with him. It could be because Congress doesn't know. He is the one vote when he's gone. The Trump hold is probably going to be gone in Congress. You know, you get rid of him, how much power are they going to have? The power issue, right? Taking the sword away from the individual. The reason why I would say with this individual, I want a psychiatric evaluation and I also want a toxicology screen is because of these two cards, sobriety, temperance, and the mental doctor, right? She holds the Torah, Ta'or, she bears the light. She's got the sign of the Emunah, faith, the moon on her head from Emunah, right? She's got the pomegranate, which contains 613 seeds corresponding to the 613 laws of the Torah. The cross is kind of interesting, right? But I don't think it's a Christian cross. I think it's supposed to be a different symbol. I think it's the 4 corners. And then and she's holding the Torah. And supposedly is a Baphomet. This is supposed to be for Baphomet, but I always also saw it as like they're also the letters we associate with God in Hebrew as well. So that's kind of cool. But that's the symbology of the high priestess. So a psychiatrist would meet that criteria of mental, looking into the mental stuff, the mental stuff, lunatic, right? Energy, and then here temperance, which would be sobriety. So the fact that you have the lunatic doctor coming in, the lunar doctor, high coat, with a temperance. You had a little bit too much Christmas eggnog maybe there for like an entire year, George. I mean, it has that feel to it. So if that's true, then it could be that he's it could get to a point where he's so desperate that he admits to being mentally ill, agrees to a formal psychiatric evaluation, and can potentially get a lesser sentence on that charge. And so if he gets to that point where he realizes there's no way out with those cards, I would imagine the next move would be a full to submit himself, agree to a full battery of psychiatric tests and drug screening. You guys want to talk about it? Oh, I look beautiful. Oh, thank you. I love these glasses. I think I look better with these glasses. All right, so Joel Tilson would like us to move on to workers' rights. As you know, workers' rights is often a major bone of contention during elections. People want good paying jobs. And let's take a look what happens. All right, good paying jobs this year. Good paying jobs this year. Okay, jobs. Are people going to be getting them? Good jobs. America is going to be getting contracts, and America is getting new contracts out of the Middle East. And I think that this new contract between Israel, the United States, Dubai is going to be extremely profitable. I think it's going to be so profitable that we're going to see more Americans being offered positions in other countries for very good wages, because what people want is the American education system. And so American workers who are struggling here may be given wonderful opportunities in places like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Israel, etc., because I'm seeing global invitations. I'll show you here. You have this beautiful Ace of Cups coming in. Well, you can come work here. And then you have the Three of Wands, which could indicate that U.S. employees are opening up to international waters. We bitch about our public education system, and rightly so, but there are many parts of the world where people don't even have an 8th grade education. So, and secondary education in the United States is excellent if you can get through the secondary. The gap between between public private school and university, that gap is often sometimes a 2-year gap because primary education isn't doing its job. But if you can make it through the secondary education system, you're going to have a pretty good education usually, right? So it looks like the job hiring is very much larger than it had previously been. Here also, High Priestess in your opposition, dreams in opposition. And you can see here the Queen of Swords. So comes discipline and education, there's hiring. And then here again, indication of a global reaction. You've got the World and Ace of Swords. This Abraham Accords and this international contracts have really opened up industry for workers all over the world. And I think that's really exciting to see all of this happening here. International over the waters. A gift comes, success again, double aces pulled, and again the world. And again here, final outcome, profitable. So yes, the jobs market looks really good this year with plenty of opportunities for people with the right educations to take positions outside the U.S. Good cards. Well, I like living all over the place. I've definitely tried living all over the place. And I think Israel's my favorite place. I like America, but you know, I respect some of what America has done in terms of, you know, I was born here, I have dual citizenship, but I feel more like I feel home when I'm in Israel in the sense that I feel like there are certain things about me that people get in Israel that they don't get here. 'Cause they get me. They get my some of them do. Some of them don't get me, but I think a lot of people in Israel get me. They get my weird, bizarro sense of humor. Um, yeah, so I think I fit in well there actually. Not amongst the ultra Orthodox, but I was never supposed to be in that group. That's not my community. It's not how I was. Well, my mother became religious, but I'm more like secular. Let's see if there's any more questions. Yes, Elton John retired and he's so unhappy. So I figure come out of retirement and give us one more concert in Gaza and then you can retire, which of course he's not going to retire. The man looks so depressed. Can you imagine living in a house with him? I just saw his Christmas announcement. He looks like he wants to go back to bed and cry in his pillow. It's like the man should not be retiring. It's like, what are you doing? You're perfectly fine. And he's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with him. He's walking about talking about his Christmas album it's like you know what he looks like? He looks like a lost Labrador that has no ball to play with. It's not going to work. He's going to have to come out. He's got to come back. Yeah. Save your Kenya. Okay, I already did that. Okay, got that question. Okay, did that already. Oh yes, Bernie Taupin. Yes, what a great writer. Oh, he loved Chicago. Good for him. He's an Aries. Oh, that's hysterically funny. I'm an Aries, okay, people. And you all said I needed to go on vacation. You remember that? Remember when you said Whimsy's looking exhausted? She got diverticulitis. For God's sakes, when Whimsy go on vacation. I'm an Aries. Okay, I'll take a 2.5 weeks off. Where's she going? To the war zone, right? So I'll be fine. This is perfect for me, right? When you guys told me to go on a vacation, did you not mean a war zone? I must have, I must have forgotten. I must have gotten the, I don't know, must have gotten it wrong or something. Okay, let's see here. Any more questions? 11, you've been too generous today. Thank you very much. 1111 is a benefactor for the channel, and he's been very supportive. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I get to everybody's question. This is a good question from Joel Tilson about the fact that Putin, this whole idea that Putin may have been partially behind the October 7th attack, that relations between Russia and Israel are worse than they've ever been. I mean, I don't think they've been this bad since maybe before the wall fell or so. It's really not good. But I would like to see about that and see if they're going to have to get rid of Putin, and then they're going to have to try and heal the awful situation right now between the relationship between Israel and Russia because of this. It's weird. I see Putin gone and a new guy will be taking power. And it's somebody stable who wants to create a stable economy for Russia. You have this kind of stable money business coming into Russia, new partnerships over the old economy. I think we can avoid war. You have this new ethos, but also here you have the world is dreaming again. So I don't know when it will happen, but I think that Putin will be pushed out most likely, Joel. And I think that he'll be replaced by someone who appears to be a steady businessman that is focused on stabilizing the economy rather than taking over the world. It looks like the new man that will take Russia is somebody who cares about the economy of Russia and is focused on stabilizing the economy of Russia more than taking over the world. That appears to be the new direction of Russia. Yeah, we're just trying to get people back to work, make money, etc. We're not trying to fight anybody. That's the energy of where they're headed. King of Pentacles, and not just King of Pentacles, but I think he was clarified by Seven of Pentacles. Is that right? So it's just no business, back to work, keep the trains moving, which also leads me to think that Russia is completely economically, intellectually bankrupted because of the wars. And when people come back, they're going to be ranting and raving to the new guy. And it's his job not to argue, not to take sides, but just get the country up and running again. So that's my prediction for Russia. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your love and support of the channel. Thank you for hanging with me for the extra time since we were a bit busy, as they say. Yes, a Blitz petition, Elton John. But of course, we don't want to do anything that goes against, they're in the middle of a war right now. So we don't want to touch on any toes. This is only something that's good. It's like a Christmas, Hanukkah, because Christmas and Hanukkah come together this year, by the way, Mr. Elton John. It would be nice if he could give us all peace on earth. Wouldn't that be cool? And a nice concert. So we have to I'm praying, like we all have to manifest it, right? I believe in miracles, right? All right. Thank you, everyone, for your love and support of the channel and me. If you're trying to get in for a tarot card reading with me, you can book me through Booksy. The information is below. If you need a quick tarot reading through Wizio, that information is also below. I am out of here. Be kind to all so that all can be kind to you too. See you later. Bye.